They knew not everything, not every detail, but enough to understand what it was doing to you. Enough to see the pattern, enough to know it wasn't okay. At the start, you noticed things, small moments, small reactions, things that didn't sit right, but not enough to leave. So you stayed, and staying does something. It doesn't just keep the situation going. It slowly changes what you accept. Because the longer you stay in something, the more your standards adjust to survive it. And that's where the shift happens. Not in them, in you. You start explaining things, minimizing things, telling yourself it's not that bad. And while you're doing that, they're watching, not consciously analyzing everything, but recognizing patterns. They see when you stop reacting. They notice when you stop questioning. They feel when things no longer get challenged. And that's where behavior changes. Not for the better, for what's allowed. Because people don't just do what they want. They do what they can get away with. And once they know where the line is, they don't move away from it. They move closer to it, again and again and again, until what once felt wrong starts to feel normal. Not because it is, because you've adjusted to it. And that's the part nobody really talks about. You think you're being patient. They experience it as acceptance. You think you're being understanding. They experience it as permission. And once something feels permitted, it doesn't improve, it continues. That's why the same behavior repeats. That's why the same conversations happen. That's why nothing actually changes, because nothing is forcing it to. You were hoping for growth. They were adapting to your tolerance. And those are not the same thing. One moves forward. The other stays exactly where it is. And over time, that gap becomes obvious. You start feeling it more, thinking about it more, questioning it more. Until one day, you stop asking, why are they like this? And start asking, why did I accept it for so long? And that's where things shift. Not when they change, when you do, because the moment you stop adjusting, the moment you stop tolerating, the moment you stop explaining, everything becomes clear. What's real, what's repeated, what's not changing, and once you see that, you can't unsee it. And that's the moment that matters, because that's the moment where staying stops feeling like an option. They knew not everything, but enough, and that's why it never changed.